So, the open beta for the new Doom title has come and gone, and I thought I'd share a few thoughts on it. Specifically, I'd like to say why the multiplayer component of this new title doesn't impress me. It should come as a surprise to only the most absolutely inexperienced that Doom, and as a matter of fact, pretty much every game developed by the id Software legacy, is fast. Very fast. In Doom, you can run at breakneck speeds while traversing throughout the level, and it, like subsequent id titles, provide the player with a lot of freedom and mobility. Now don't get me wrong, this Doom reincarnation certainly has some speed, as your character can traverse through a level rather quickly. But my main complaint comes not so much from the speed that you gain through your character's actual movement, but rather from the tools and techniques that you have to aid your mobility in combat. While I do enjoy the double jump and the ability to quickly pull yourself up to a ledge, it pains me to see that the other techniques of mobility have been cut out. Quake players have mastered the art of strafe jumping, which allows you to gain ridiculous speeds ridiculously fast. But by far the removal that pains me the most is that of rocket jumping. In older titles, your rocket launcher was not only an effective range explosive killing machine, it had the added benefit of helping you get from point A to point B. If you shoot a rocket at the floor behind you or below you in time with your jump, the kick from the explosion would propel you at great speeds. If you play TF2, you should be familiar with what I'm talking about. But in this new Doom title, shooting at the floor below yourself will do nothing more than hurt you. Yeah, rocket jumping was dangerous in the older games too because the explosions damage you, but it was the risk-reward factor that made it such an interesting move. Trying to evade a conflict but having the chance to screw yourself over in the process. Why couldn't the developers include the old movement techniques that players have been mastering and refining for literally decades alongside the newly implemented double jump and ledge grabbing? It could have allowed for many more creative ways to traverse the environment and even more creatively designed maps that require the player to master all the tools in their mobility tool belt. It's a shame, a damn shame. In any classic arena first-person shooter, everyone stands on an equal playing field, and only pure skill will dictate a victor. Everyone spawns with the same equipment and pick up weapons littered throughout the map to make quick work of their foes. But this new Doom title, much to my displeasure, has gone for a modern shooter approach with classes and loadouts. And it simply isn't as good. If this were a true arena FPS, everyone would spawn with one weapon and then rush to pick up a better one. But instead, this game is so eager to shove these modern mechanics down your throat that it forgets why Doom and later Quake's multiplayer components were so adored by the PC community. By far the most massive slap at the face to arena FPS fans is that while this new title has several weapon types, you can only carry 2 guns at a time. Why? Because that's how they split them up into classes and loadouts. Pick whichever 2 weapons you want to tinker about, and if you want to change them, switch them when you die. Gone are the classic spinning weapons pickups, and instead we have, well, any modern military shooter.
Retribution activated.
My frustrations with the design decisions of this game don't stop at the fact that it has butchered the arena formula by introducing classes and loadouts, but also because it has adopted so many more useless gimmicks of modern shooters. I can live with pointless gun painting and armor customization, but I absolutely cannot excuse not having dedicated servers and relying on the company's servers to be able to play. It's such a boneheaded decision. Quake and even the original Doom still have multiplayer action available because the community hosts their own servers. An added benefit is being able to mod your own custom game modes or alter any kind of game parameter, which translates into gameplay variation. I shudder to think that one day Bethesda might regard the server upkeep of this game to be unprofitable, and without dedicated server support, the entire online community will vanish. It's happened before, it can happen again. I mean, just look at Electronic Arts. Equally annoying is the inclusion of an experience and leveling system that allows for tiered unlocks. Why was this included in Doom? It feels like the only reason this kind of system is implemented is to appeal to players of Call of Duty or Battlefield, where you get better because after slaving yourself for hours, you can finally unlock that good upgrade you always wanted. And that's simply not how Doom or any kind of old school arena first person shooter works. I mean, take a look at CSGO. Yeah, it has an XP system, but it's used for a little more than bragging rights and a free skin every week. The main draw is the actual gameplay, which has been refined to a mirror shine. It's again a shame that this new Doom title couldn't stay true to its multiplayer roots and instead mutated itself into a more generic experience.
Power Seeker activated.
I have an all-encompassing complaint about what I've seen of this multiplayer mode, which serves as a kind of umbrella under which all other problems lie. And that's the fact that this new multiplayer mode has significantly reduced the skill ceiling. Everything from the removal of old and well-established ways of traversal to the division of weapon into roles and classes makes this game have less depth. I, for one, was looking forward to seeing the multiplayer of this game turn into an esport, just like Quake and Doom were back in their day, where matches would be true tests of skill of the best players in the world as they all use movement, map awareness, and a large assortment of weapons to their advantage. But instead, we have a title that stands as a shell of what its predecessors were, a game that tries to appeal to a wider audience by dumbing down and simplifying to a fault, rather than reviving and polishing the arena FPS genre and gaining a massive following for being an excellent reincarnation of the Doom multiplayer deathmatch experience that old and new players would appreciate. The way I see it, anyone nowadays who wants to recapture the old feelings of playing an arena FPS is better off playing something like Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, Toxic, which is still in early access, or Quake Live, which is free to play. What? No! 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 Are you Well, apparently somebody decided it'd be a good idea to suddenly start charging $9.99 for a game that was free to play for 5 fucking years. Thanks, Bethesda. Thanks for that. But I digress. You know, the id Software legacy consisted of games that were brutally and satisfyingly difficult, where you'd spend countless hours mastering and challenging a single-player experience and an equally difficult and skill-oriented multiplayer component. You know, I'm very disappointed to say that from what this beta has showed me, we won't be getting the same degree of challenging multiplayer. I can only hope that it's not a similar tale for the single player, which is yet to be released. If you've played the beta, then let me know what you think. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Have you actually played Doom before? Hell, have you played any of the id Software legacy titles before and saw what their multiplayer would like? I'd like to know what you think. Thank you.